Are you tired of feeling overwhelmed by the constant noise and chaos of the modern world? Have you ever considered the power of silence in becoming a stronger, more resilient person? In this video, we explore the ancient philosophy of Stoicism and how embracing silence can help you tap into your inner strength and become a more powerful man. Number 1. Listen more, speak less. According to Stoic teachings, listening more and speaking less is not just good manners. It is a deep theory that can help you become wise and strong inside. This theory comes from the idea that listening is the best way to learn something and thinking about it is the best way to become wise. We can learn a lot and see things from different points of view if we listen more than we speak. We learn to value other people's points of view, even if they are different from our own. Being open-minded is a big part of Stoic thought, which says we should see things as they really are instead of how we want them to be. It's possible to understand the world and the people in it better by listening more, which can then help us get through life better. Self-control is an important trait in Stoicism, and talking less and listening more can help us get better at it. What we say is less likely to hurt us later when we speak less. When provoked, we are less likely to act without thinking and more likely to reply in a calm, logical way. Self-control doesn't just mean controlling what we say. It also means controlling how we feel. We can stop our feelings from ruling us and instead take charge of them by keeping quiet. Being more humble can be achieved by talking and listening less. It shows humility to choose to listen more in a world where everyone wants to be heard. It shows that we respect other people's knowledge and experience and are ready to learn from them. This sense of humility is an important part of Stoic thought, which tells us to know our flaws and work to get better. Just because we listen more and talk less doesn't mean we should never speak. Stoicism doesn't tell us to shut up. It tells us how to use our words well. It means being careful with our words so that when we do speak, they have weight and meaning. This is what Epictetus said. It is better to say nothing than to speak and say nothing. Sometimes it's hard to listen more and talk less. It takes self-control, patience, and a humble attitude. We have to fight the urge to talk without thinking and instead listen carefully. We have to be in the present, pay attention to the speaker, and really hear what they are saying. It's not enough to just hear the words. You need to understand how they are said, what they mean, and why they are said. We can start to develop this habit by putting aside our own plans and biases where we listen to others. We can work on being fully present in the present moment without anything else going on. We can get better at thinking about what we've heard before we speak, and we can only practice speaking when we have something important to say. A strong habit that can help you become wise, self-controlled, and humble is to listen more and talk less. Being patient, self-controlled, and humble are all things that you need to do this, but the benefits are great. We can learn more about the world and the people in it by listening more and talking less. We can also learn to control our feelings and actions and become more humble. Let's try to listen more and talk less. This will help us become smarter, more self-controlled, and more polite. Number 2. Cultivate self-awareness. Getting to know yourself better is an important part of growing and improving yourself. Being self-aware means being able to see and understand your own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Knowing this is the first step to becoming wise and mastering ourselves. The Stoics thought that being self-aware is not something you are born with, but something you can learn and get better at by practicing. To get a better sense of who you are, they pushed for a life of constant self-examination and thought. The biggest thing that keeps people from living is hope, which hangs on to tomorrow and loses today, said Seneca. You are setting up what fortune can control and giving up what you can control. What look you're seeing? With what do you want to achieve? The whole future is uncertain. Live right now. There are several steps to becoming more self-aware. Being self-aware means being able to understand your thoughts, since they are the source of your feelings and behaviors. Mindfulness, which means being fully present in the present moment and watching our thoughts without judging them, was something that the Stoics believed in and encouraged. This can help us figure out how we think, like when we say bad things to ourselves or believe things that aren't true, so we can change those habits. Being self-aware means being able to understand your feelings, which are strong forces that can affect your thoughts and actions. The Stoics thought that emotions are not inherently good or bad. Instead, they saw emotions as a natural reaction to what we think. We can take charge of our emotions and stop letting them rule us if we understand how our thoughts and feelings are linked. Because our acts show what we think and feel, it's important to understand them if you want to be self-aware. The Stoics thought that each person was responsible for their own deeds and should try to follow their own values and principles. By looking at what we do, we can find ways to make them better and work on changing them. Writing in a notebook was also a good idea for the Stoics. Journaling is a great way to become more self-aware because it gives us a planned way to think about our thoughts, feelings, and actions. It can help us figure out how we act in routines, keep track of our progress, and learn more about who we are. As Marcus Aurelius put it, the thing in which man is most deeply interested is not the creation or establishment of any political order, but the establishment of his own character. It's not always easy to become more self-aware. Because of this, we have to be honest with ourselves, face our fears and insecurities, and admit our flaws. To do this, we need to be patient, kind to ourselves, and fight the desire to be harsh on ourselves. Being self-aware is hard work, but the benefits are worth it. It is possible to take charge of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors by learning more about ourselves. We can get smarter, better at controlling ourselves, and stronger. We have the power to become our best selves. Being more self-aware is one of the most important things you can do to grow and improve yourself. It means being aware of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and thinking about them in a planned and structured way. The benefits are well worth the work. But we have to be honest, patient, and kind to ourselves. It is possible to take charge of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors by learning more about ourselves. We can get smarter, better at controlling ourselves, and stronger. So let's work on becoming more self-aware, which will help us build our character. Number 3, practice patience. People think that being patient is a trait that can help you feel strong and at peace with yourself. Being patient means being able to handle tough scenarios without getting angry or frustrated. It means being able to stay cool and collected even when things go wrong. The Stoics thought that being patient is not something you are born with, but something you can learn by doing. They pushed for a life of steady self-improvement, and one of the most important virtues to work on was patience. Marcus Aurelius once said, "How much worse are the results of anger than the things that make you angry?" There are several steps to learning to be patient. The first thing you need to do is understand how important waiting is. We need to know that being patient is a sign of power, not weakness. We need to understand that patience is a trait that can help us find peace and happiness within ourselves, and that we should work toward it. The second step is to figure out what makes us lose our cool. These situations are different for each person, but they usually involve dealing with tough people, changes that come up out of the blue, or problems that you didn't see coming. By recognizing these situations, we can get our minds and hearts ready for them and work on getting more patient. Finally, the third step is to be patient sometimes. The ability to be patient isn't something that can be learned quickly. It needs to be worked on over time. We can start by being patient in small, everyday situations, like when we have to wait in line, or when our internet connection is slow. By being patient in these small situations, we can get better at being patient and get ready for bigger problems. This is the fourth step. Keep a positive mood. Sometimes it's easier to be patient when we're feeling good. If we look at the good things in a situation instead of the bad, we can stay calm and collected, even when things are bad. The important thing is not what happens to you, but how you handle it, as Epictetus said. Becoming more aware is the fifth step. Being fully present in the present moment without judging it is what mindfulness is all about. Being able to watch our thoughts and feelings without getting overwhelmed by them is a strong way to develop patience. Mindfulness can help us stay calm and collected, even when things are tough. Stoics also believe that people should learn to accept things as they are. Being able to accept things as they are without trying to change them is what acceptance means. It means being aware of the things we can't change and accepting that we need to find ways to live with them. As he said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. It's not always easy to learn to be patient. Being self-compassionate and patient with ourselves is important. We need to fight the desire to get angry or frustrated. We need to be persistent, to keep training even when it's hard, and to keep trying to get better. But the benefits of being patient are worth the wait. Being patient can help us feel calm and strong inside. Whatever life throws at us, we can get stronger, more self-controlled, and better able to deal with it. Being patient is one of the most important virtues for personal growth and improvement. It means realizing how important patience is, figuring out what tests our patience, practicing patience in small amounts, keeping a positive attitude, being aware, and accepting things as they are. Being self-compassionate and patient with ourselves is important. We need to fight the desire to get angry or frustrated. But the benefits of being patient are worth the wait. Being patient can help us feel calm and strong inside. Whatever life throws at us, we can get stronger, more self-controlled, and better able to deal with it. Number 4, choose your words wisely. People believe that picking the right words is an important part of both communicating effectively and improving oneself. They thought that words have power and that how we use them can either make us and others stronger or weaker. There are several steps to practicing picking the right words. The first step is to understand how important words are. We need to understand that words are more than just sounds. They have meaning and can have big effects on us and on other people. We should be aware that the words we use can affect how we think, feel, and act, so we should be careful how we use them. Next, we need to stop and think before we speak. This means we need to think about what we want to say and how we want to say it. It means thinking about how our words might affect other people and picking them carefully. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Making your speech clear and precise is the third step. This means that we should use words that correctly describe our thoughts and feelings and stay away from words that aren't clear. It means being direct and clear and not using extra words. For Marcus Aurelius, a man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. The fourth step is to be truthful and honest when you talk. This means telling the truth, even if it's hard. Being honest with ourselves and others means not lying or trying to trick other people. Epictetus told us, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. As the fifth step, you should speak with love and care. In other words, use words that lift up instead of words that bring down. It means not using hurtful or harmful words when you talk to someone and showing that you understand and care about them. Seneca said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." The Stoics also believe that people should be quiet. Stopping talking is called silence, and is a great way to improve yourself. We can avoid saying things we'll regret later and give ourselves time to think before we speak if we quiet ourselves. Epictetus said, "Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt." It's not always easy to pick the right words to say. It takes us to be aware of our feelings and thoughts, to have self-control, and to fight the urge to speak without thinking. We have to be patient, think before we speak, and think about how what we say might affect other people. But the benefits of picking the right words are well worth the work. We can speak better, build stronger relationships, and learn more about ourselves if we are careful about the words we use. The practice of picking the right words is an important part of improving yourself and communicating effectively. Realizing how important words are, taking a moment to think before we speak, speaking clearly and precisely, being honest and having integrity, speaking with kindness and compassion, and practicing silence are all parts of this. It takes us to be aware of our feelings and thoughts, to have self-control, and to fight the urge to speak without thinking. But the benefits of picking the right words are well worth the work. We can speak better, build stronger relationships, and learn more about ourselves if we are careful about the words we use. Let us try to be smart about the words we use. That way, we can become the best versions of ourselves. Number 5. Be confident in your silence. Being comfortable with your own silence is seen as a strong way to improve yourself and grow as a person. Some Stoics thought that being quiet wasn't a sign of weakness, but of power and self-control. There are several steps to becoming comfortable with being quiet. To start, you need to understand how important silence is. It's important to know that silence isn't just the lack of sound. It's also a strong way to think, feel, and become more self-aware. We need to understand that silence can be a source of power and that we shouldn't be afraid of it. The second step is to get over being afraid of being alone. This means getting over our fear of being judged, confused, or ignored, and getting used to being alone with our thoughts. It means realizing that being quiet is a sign of power, not weakness, and that it's okay to think before telling someone something. Every night, we should call ourselves to account. What weakness have I mastered today? Said Seneca. What feelings were at odds? What temptation did you resist? What virtue did you get? The third step is to get better at listening actively. This means listening with the goal of learning instead of answering. It means focusing on the person and not letting anything else happen at the same time. We can better understand other people and make our relationships stronger by actively listening. Epictetus said, "Nature hath given men one tongue but two ears, that we may hear from others twice as much as we speak." The fourth step is to only talk when you have to. This means not using words that aren't needed and being careful about the words we use. It means talking about important things and staying away from useless chatter. We can avoid saying things we might later regret by only speaking when we need to, and we can interact better this way. Alexander the Great said, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The fifth step is to be okay with being alone. This means setting aside time to think about the things we have done. It means using silence as a way to learn more about ourselves and find out more about ourselves. Being alone can help us find peace within ourselves and learn more about ourselves. Seneca said, "The man who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive." The Stoics also believe that people should meditate. Focusing the mind is what meditation is all about, and it's a great way to improve yourself. Practicing meditation can help us learn more about ourselves and feel more comfortable with being quiet. According to Marcus Aurelius, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. There are times when it's hard to be sure of your quiet. It takes us to be aware of our feelings and thoughts, to have self-control, and to fight the urge to speak without thinking. We have to be patient, listen carefully, and be okay with being alone. But the benefits of being sure of our quiet are worth the work. Being sure of our silence can help us learn more about ourselves and others, make our relationships better, and become more self-aware. Being sure of yourself in silence is a strong way to improve yourself and grow as a person. It means learning to value silence, getting over your fear of it, practicing active listening, speaking only when necessary, being okay with being alone, and meditating. It takes us to be aware of our feelings and thoughts, to have self-control, and to fight the urge to speak without thinking. But the benefits of being sure of our quiet are worth the work. Being sure of our silence can help us learn more about ourselves and others, make our relationships better, and become more self-aware. So, let's work on being sure of ourselves when we're quiet. That way, we can become the best versions of ourselves. Number 6. Use silence to control situations. Using silence to take charge of events is seen as a powerful way to improve yourself and grow as a person. The Stoics thought that silence could be used as a strategy to take charge of oneself and one's surroundings. There are several steps to using silence to control what's going on. To start, you need to understand how powerful silence can be. It's important to know that silence can help us feel calm, release stress, and take back control of our feelings. We need to understand that silence can be a strong way to get what we want and change the way other people think. Step 2 is to learn how to control yourself. To do this, we need to learn to control our feelings and resist the desire to act without thinking. It means staying calm and collected, even when things are tough. By controlling ourselves, we can find inner peace and get better at using silence to keep things under control. Seneca said, "We should always allow some time to elapse, for time discloses the truth." Step 3 is to fill a room with silence to cool down. Using silence to make people feel calm and peaceful, and to ease stress is what this means. To resist the urge to speak without thinking, and instead to pause and think before saying. The use of silence to cool down can help us gain control of our feelings and improve how well we communicate with others. The best way to get back at someone is to not be like them, said Marcus Aurelius. The 4th step is to control other people through silence. This means that we should use silence as a strategy to get what we want and to change other people's minds. It means being careful with our words and only saying when we need to. We could be more successful at reaching our goals and make our relationships better if we use silence to control other people. Epictetus told us, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." To get back in charge, the 5th step is to use silence. In other words, it means using silence to think about ourselves and learn more about who we are. Using silence to get a handle on our feelings and thoughts and learn more about ourselves is what it means. We can have more success reaching our goals and having a full life if we use silence to gain control over ourselves. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." The Stoics also believe that people should be more aware. Being mindful means focusing on the present moment. It is a strong way to improve yourself. Mindfulness training can help us become more self-aware and improve our ability to use silence to control events. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It's all in your thoughts." It's not always easy to use silence to keep things under control. It takes us to be aware of our feelings and thoughts, to have self-control, and to fight the urge to speak without thinking. We have to be gentle, pay attention, and be careful with what we say. But the benefits of keeping quiet to handle things are well worth the work. By controlling our reactions with silence, we can learn more about ourselves and others, make our relationships better, and reach our goals more quickly. Using silence to take charge of events is a powerful way to improve yourself and grow as a person. It means being aware of the power of silence, learning self-control, using silence to calm down, learning how to control others, learning how to control ourselves, and practicing awareness. It takes us to be aware of our feelings and thoughts, to have self-control, and to fight the urge to speak without thinking. But the benefits of keeping quiet to handle things are well worth the work. By controlling our reactions with silence, we can learn more about ourselves and others, make our relationships better, and reach our goals more quickly. So, let's try to control our emotions through silence. This will help us become the best versions of ourselves. Number 7. Embrace solitude. Embracing silence is seen as one of the most important things you can do to improve yourself and grow as a person. There was a time when the Stoics thought that solitude was not the same as being alone with one's ideas and feelings. There are several steps to the practice of accepting solitude. The first thing you need to do is understand how important silence is. We need to understand that being alone is not a penalty but a gift. It's a time to think about yourself, grow as a person, and observe. We need to understand that being alone can make us stronger and that we should welcome it instead of being afraid of it. The second step is to make a place where you can be alone. To do this, you need to make time and room for being alone a priority. Making a place that is quiet and peaceful, with no delays or distractions, is what it means. Making a place for alone time can help us feel calm and peaceful, and it can also help us get better at using alone time to improve ourselves. One wise person said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." The third step is to spend time alone thinking about yourself. This means that we should use our time alone to think about ourselves and learn more about them. It means thinking about our behaviors, feelings, and thoughts and finding ways to make them better. We can learn more about ourselves and be more successful at reaching our goals if we take time to think about them alone. The soul is colored by the color of its thoughts, said Marcus Aurelius. The fourth step is to work on yourself while you're alone. This means that you should use your time alone to grow as a person and learn new habits and skills. It means making plans to reach our goals and then working hard to do so. We can be more successful at reaching our goals and living a full life if we use silence to improve ourselves. Epictetus told us, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. The fifth step is to take care of yourself by being alone. This means that we should use our alone time to rest, unwind, and take care of ourselves. That is, doing things that we enjoy and that make us happy and joyful. We can make our lives more balanced and better able to handle stress and worry by taking time to be alone for self-care. Every night, we should call ourselves to account. What weakness have I mastered today? Said Seneca. What feelings were at odds? What temptation did you resist? What virtue did you get? The Stoics also believe that people should meditate. Focusing the mind is what meditation is all about, and it's a great way to improve yourself. A deeper understanding of ourselves and better ability to use silence for personal growth can be gained by meditating. According to Marcus Aurelius, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. It's not always easy to accept being alone. It takes us to be okay with being alone, to be self-disciplined, and to fight the urge to look for approval from other people. We have to be patient, think about our feelings and thoughts, and make good use of our time. But the benefits of being alone are well worth the work. We can learn more about ourselves, find inner peace, and be more successful at reaching our goals if we accept and enjoy being alone. Accepting and enjoying being alone is a basic concept for improving yourself and growing as a person. Recognizing the importance of solitude, making a place for solitude, using solitude to think, use solitude to get better, use solitude to take care of oneself, and practice meditation. It takes us to be okay with being alone, to be self-disciplined, and to fight the urge to look for approval from other people. But the benefits of being alone are well worth the work. We can learn more about ourselves, find inner peace, and be more successful at reaching our goals if we accept and enjoy being alone. So, let's try to enjoy being alone. This will help us become the best versions of ourselves. Number 8. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is seen as one of the most important things you can do to improve yourself and grow as a person. The Stoics thought that being aware of the present moment was the key to living a happy and useful life. There are several steps to practicing awareness. Realizing how important it is to be present is the first step. It's important to know that the present moment is all we have and the only one we can really manage. We should remember that the past is over and the future is unknown. Instead, we should focus on the here and now. Julian of Aquitaine said, "The present moment is the only moment we have access to, and it opens the door to all moments." The second step is to become more aware. This means becoming more aware of our thoughts, feelings, and the things going on around us. Being in the present time and paying attention to our senses are what it means. By increasing our awareness, we can become more present and better able to control our feelings and thoughts. Every night, we should call ourselves to account. What weakness have I mastered today? Said Seneca. What feelings were at odds? What temptation did you resist? What virtue did you get? Accepting things as they are is the third step. This means that you don't judge or fight the present moment, you just accept it as it is. It means realizing that we can't control everything and putting our attention on the things we cannot control. We can become more aware and better able to deal with worry and anxiety if we practice acceptance. The important thing is not what happens to you, but how you handle it, as Epictetus said. The fourth step is to work on not being attached to anything. Letting go of things, people, and results is what this means. It means being aware that everything changes and that we should focus on the here and now. We can become more aware and better able to control our thoughts and feelings by learning non-attachment. Aristotle once said, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." The fifth step is to show appreciation. For this to work, we need to be thankful for the things we have and the present moment. It means recognizing that there is always something to be grateful for, even in difficult conditions. Being grateful can help us be more aware and better able to control our feelings and thoughts. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. The Stoics also believe that people should meditate. Focusing the mind is what meditation is all about, and it's a great way to improve yourself. It is possible to become more self-aware and better at using mindfulness to help ourselves grow if we meditate regularly. According to Marcus Aurelius, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. There are times when it's hard to be aware. Being present, becoming more aware, practicing acceptance, practicing not attaching to things, and practicing thanks are all things that we need to do. We have to be patient, pay attention to the present, and fight the desire to get sidetracked. But the benefits of being aware are great and make the work well worth it. Through mindfulness, we can learn more about ourselves, feel more at peace with ourselves, and be more successful in reaching our goals. Mindfulness is one of the most important things you can do to improve yourself and grow as a person. Being aware of how important it is to be present, practicing acceptance, practicing non-attachment, practicing thanks, and practicing meditation are all parts of this. Being present, becoming more aware, practicing acceptance, practicing not attaching to things, and practicing thanks are all things that we need to do. But the benefits of being aware are great and make the work well worth it. Through mindfulness, we can learn more about ourselves, feel more at peace with ourselves, and be more successful in reaching our goals. So let's try to be more aware. This will help us become the best versions of ourselves.